right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the What's Next podcast, where we sit down with entrepreneurs, business professionals, and real estate agents to talk about tech and everything interesting in this life. I'm your host, Max Bergstrom, and this is What's Next. Let's go!
We sit down with real estate agents and talk about how the industry is changing, thriving with technology. We look at strategy. We love it. Welcome to What's Next podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome to the San Diego Biz Babes, the P Money Show, the What's Next podcast.
That's good.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with Paulina Salazar. She is a top-rated San Diego real estate agent, podcast host, and entrepreneur with a huge passion for helping people reach their goals. How are you today?
Good. I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm super stoked to have you on the show. Like I said before we sat down, you are a very interesting gal. You've got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm excited to talk about everything. I mean, you're a San Diego native, and it looks like you're not going anywhere, yeah?
Yes, I love San Diego.
Okay.
I tried to leave in the past, and I can't.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to, right?
Yeah.
It's just one of those places where you come here and you stay. I mean, I came here on vacation in 2015, and then I moved here 4 months after that, and I never left.
No, I tried to leave for like 6 months, and I couldn't. I came back and honestly started selling real estate.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I read in your bio that real estate is your dream job.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. I don't know too many people that were you like really little and you were like, if I could do anything, I want to be a real estate agent?
No, I think it just became my dream job as I was doing it. Like,
I
didn't really know that it was my dream job. In fact, my ex-boyfriend was actually the one to introduce me to real estate. He was a lender.
Got it.
And so he kept bugging about it. And I was like, no. I don't like sales. I don't like selling and pushing things on people. That's just not me. But he's like, no, but it's about the personality. Like, he was trying to explain, like, if you're likable, you'll do well. You're competitive, like, you should do it. And then, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times after him trying, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go check this out, and I went, and my mentor at the time, remember, she sat me down in the conference room and she just showed me a check, and she's like, this is how much you can make off of just one house. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I could try.
That's so funny because, like, I think maybe this is the fifth agent that said exactly that story. They're like, I saw somebody's check and I was like, dude, like, there's been a few that have mentioned that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely super profitable.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the number, it looks like 17 homes your first year and then 33 your second year.
Yeah. 17 the first year I was licensed, but I was making cold calls and all of that jazz 6 months prior.
Okay.
I was testing
before
it out.
you were licensed.
Yeah.
You were making cold calls for a job before getting your license for it.
Yes. Not getting paid for 6 months. Literally 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Just hammering the phones.
Hammering the phones. Yeah. Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sundays were half days for me for a whole year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like real dedication.
Yeah.
And did you? Yeah, thank you. That is amazing. Okay, so you were how long have you been an agent?
Now I think I'm going on 6 years.
6 years. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's amazing. I have a license myself, and this is just the funniest thing because I was just really lousy at it, and I thought maybe you could like part-time it, which you totally can't. But I'm interested though, when you were hammering the phones before you were licensed, were you working in another job or like?
No, I was blessed because I had my parents to basically allow me to live rent-free and food-free. They feed me.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, being fed is good.
Yeah. And so I thank them so much because I wouldn't be where I am today. I can't even imagine somebody just jumping in with like actually having to support a family, maybe with like little money. I think the way to do it, if that is the case, is to start part-time.
Yeah.
Slowly, like making those cold calls at night when you get off work, like from 6 to 9 or whatever your schedule is, like slowly creep in there so you can gain that momentum. It's going to be a lot slower, but again, it just takes like patience pretty much.
Yeah, totally.
So it was an interesting jump, I would say, just because that check was motivating, but then it turned into something different. It was more fulfilling. Literally after the first one, it was like, oh my gosh, I just did that. Like, I just sold a house. Like, when I didn't think I could sell anything.
Yep.
Nonetheless, a house.
Right.
And that boosted my confidence like crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can tell. I mean, look, you know, you're very good at what you do. So then, you know, childhood, tell me about that. You grew up in San Diego. Where did you grow up? What experiences? You know, I know that it seems like you're very passionate about soccer, and you're a coach, and you're a player, and all of that. So did you start playing as a kid, or what's the story there?
My mom was a huge gymnastics fan. She was a gymnast for Mexico national team back in her day.
Yeah.
So she really pushed on us to join a sport. Of course, she tried gymnastics for me for the first try, but I was way too tall and awkward and lankety. So they were like, she needs to go. She's not going to fit in
Lankety.
here.
Mark that word down. I like that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah. And so, I was 5'8" in 6th grade. So
Whoa.
my shoe size was an 8 and everybody else was a 2.
Did you intimidate the boys?
Yeah. I was super scrawny and skinny and tall and never got hit on. So I was okay. And then it wasn't until, I think senior year where I flourished and then everybody else caught up. So I felt somewhat normal.
Yeah.
That's when I really kind of my social butterfly.
I was like that, but the opposite. I was real pudgy. I would look like an oblate sphere until I was 16. And then I grew and my voice got deep, but I was what you would call a late bloomer.
Yeah.
So I get it. I never got hit on either. Reminiscing about school. Don't you say anything. Tony's always full of smart comments.
I'm not saying anything.
Just kidding. Okay, so you started playing soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she got me in there, and I just fell in love with soccer and basketball actually. But when high school came, I had to make a decision because they were in the same season, and the coaches wouldn't allow me to play both. So it was kind of heartbreaking. But I went with soccer.
Mm-hmm.
My Mexican self, of course, a lot more motivation there. So ended up playing. I blew my knee out my senior year. Ooh. And so that led me to a junior college.
Okay.
Actually, it was really sad. I had an SDSU tryout the next day. I couldn't go, obviously. I was at the hospital. But the coach was just yeah, sorry. Maybe when you're better, you can come back and try out. So that was really a bummer for me.
Yeah.
To have to, recover, go to a JUCO when I didn't want to go to, but I ended up picking the best JUCO in San Diego, which is Miramar College.
Okay.
They have the best soccer program ever. That really, I relate real estate so much to how competitive it was there. I mean, that coach, hands down, Sean Bowers, was a god in soccer. He's now coaching professionally.
Oh, wow.
He was doing that even before he took on the JUCO team. So he had us scrimmaging against D1 schools. That's how good we were.
Mm-hmm.
So the group of girls that I basically grew up with playing soccer in college, they are all playing right now. So it's almost bittersweet because I went this route. Mm-hmm. And I went this route because of another injury. I was actually trying out for the Mexican national team and just blew my ankle. Eight screws and a plate later, it did a full 180.
Ooh.
It popped.
Ouch.
The girl that fouled me threw up. My mom ran out on the field and fainted. So there was 3 groups of paramedics.
You're like, guys, I'm right here. Okay, can you at least pretend it's?
Yeah. Can you help me?
Yeah, right. I appreciate the theatrics, but I need assistance here.
Yeah, it was really shitty because I thought I was gonna make it, and I know I could have, but it was just big injury after big injury.
Yeah,
I could never recover. I always came back stronger though. That's for sure.
Right. Well, so I was gonna ask you. So shit's gonna happen in life no matter what, but I'm curious to know what do you think the silver linings were? What value did you get out of those experiences? Because I always feel like people like you that are elite, they're successful and they've done well. I mean, they're no different than anybody else when it comes to things happening. It's how you deal with them. So what did you pull out of it?
Honestly, being hurt that many times and having things taken away, my dream school was SDSU. Didn't end up I didn't end up going there. Playing for the national team, that was so cool. I could have gone to a bigger team then, been on the USA, whatever. But I think having to restart and reset my mindset after an injury is very similar to, for example, something I just went through, which is burnout. I completely burnt out.
We're going to talk about it. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, hustling hard for, first 2 years, like grinding it out, seeing actually what I could do doing that is addicting. So it's hard to stop when you have this momentum and you don't want to stop. But the reality is that you end up putting your career before yourself. And it's like, you are the driver of that car. And if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to go to shit. And so that did happen to me mentally, physically, like sickness, acne, you name it, and I'm dealing with the consequences now, but it's like, it forced me to take a step back and like actually miss this, like miss real estate, and actually want to I feel like a new agent right now. So
because you gave yourself, you did take a step back.
I did.
Yeah. And there's this hustle culture, this 24/7, this like grind it out. Everybody can do it. All the tools are available. Go, go, go. If you snooze, you lose. The next person's, if you don't do it and go the extra mile, the next person's going to do it. And there's so much competition.
Rest when you're old.
Yeah. Sleep when you're dead. Rest when, and look, like, that's true, but it's also toxic in a way because, you have to, your body, we are finite organisms, you can't just go full bore. And I run into that too. Personally, at work full time, we do this. I'm in a band full time. I've got a 4-year-old, and it's just like, it's an endless amount of stuff. And, if you're an ambitious person, you're like, well, okay, like I'll get up and I'll take my kid to school. I'll spend as much time as I can. Then I'll work for 8 hours. And when I get home from like 7 p.m. to 2 a.m., I'll do this side hustle and I'll sleep till 5 and then get up. You know what I mean? And then you're like, whoa. And then before you know it, like your whole equilibrium is thrown off. And I love that you brought up physical stuff too, because I like in the Western culture, I feel like we don't account for physical ailments due to emotional problems. Western medicine, something's wrong with your face. Well, okay, let's look at your skin. And it's like, no, I'm so stressed out that I'm, my body is starting to show stress to get me to be like, whoa. And so I've dealt with this, like weight gain, chronic pain, like even like odd bruises and rashes and stuff that just would appear. And like when I went to an acupuncturist and this guy was like, he's like, dude, you are the most tense person I've ever like seen. Like, so, I meditate and all that, but like I tried that and like some of the emotions and stuff that came out, I was just like blown away. So it's so important to just like I taught like a Sabbath, like on Sundays, I try to just not do anything. Yeah.
I found that quality over quantity was the best thing that I could have set my mind to in this industry, because not only with my time, like I much rather hustle for honestly 3 hours a day and be done for the rest of the day, but like those 3 hours are fucking killer.
Yeah, you're locked in, right?
Versus spreading that out to make that 7 hours and getting the same amount of work done, and also wasting 4 hours of my day that I could have had with my dogs or something. And I've found actually more success in that. Actually this year I've sold less homes than I did last year, but I've made more money.
Right. So why do you think that is?
I think, well, the more money part, in my opinion, is because I as a new agent, it's hard to not give up your commission. You're so desperate for business that you're just like, oh, I'll do it for 2%, or I'll do it for this, or I'll do it for that. So it took me a while. It was a bad habit that I created. And it wasn't up until this year that I told myself, like, I am done with that. Like, if I'm not making 10 grand a deal, I'm not taking it. Like, that's how much I'm charging. So that's like my minimum. I do not make anything less than that per house. So I have like my Excel sheet with all my closings, and I keep track of my production, but also just keep in mind that I know that if I want to pound the phones for 5 hours a day for a week, I'll get a deal. Like, at least I have created that confidence that I know I can do, and that scarcity feeling, I'm still working on it.
Yeah, that's a total psychology thing.
Yeah, but I think it's a working battle, and I'm obviously not 100% there, but I do acknowledge it. Like, I know that I shouldn't be feeling like I'm not going to have business, because that's not true, because also the quality of my work has gotten so much better. Like, I literally cater to my clients. Like, they are my priority. I make sure that they know of everything and anything about the deal. Like, from start to finish, I am there. I have systems for that now. And it's so focused on the client that I would say maybe, I don't know, 90% of the time I get a referral out of every single one of them. So
really?
Last year was the first year ever in my career that I did not pick up a single phone call to like get new business. It
How
all
about
came
that?
to me. 30 homes I sold last year were all referrals.
Yeah, see, that's how you know that you're good.
Yeah. So
You know?
that was huge to see, like, because I also keep track of like where the lead came from,
Totally.
and it was all referrals, and that was
That's so
really
great.
awesome to see.
Yeah, congratulations. Well,
Thank
I
you.
can tell that you really love what you do just because like your body language and your eyes kind of light up when you talk about it. And so tell me, like, you know, I was going to ask you why do you do it, but I mean, I can probably tell. I mean, it's so client focused. I know that you like helping people reach their goals, and you know, owning your own home is a huge goal. So like, but what's your process like? It's client focused. Like, what do you mean by that? How does it work? If I was your client, like, what could I expect?
Yeah. So what I first do is I have this like mini survey that I get them to fill out when they first contact me. It's like a buyer questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
That way I don't have to ask them a million times, like, what's their criteria. I go back to that. I get their emails. I get their birthdays in case like their birthday happens. Like,
For sure.
You know, like saying happy birthday to a client during escrow when like they probably forgot they filled out my questionnaire. They're like, how do you know? So it's like the little things, you know? So I keep track of this questionnaire, and then I set up a consultation with them, whether it's a buyer or seller. And I take them through the entire process. I take an hour. And because of COVID, that's helped a lot, because a lot with my time, it's been done through Zoom. So it ranges anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, but every single client of mine has to go through that before we either start looking at homes or I meet with them or whatever.
And you're continuing on Zoom now, even though people can meet.
It kind of like depends on the client.
Gotcha.
I
Their
think
choice.
It's better in person, to be
for
honest,
sure.
you know? But yeah, I need to kind of switch over that. But for now, it's that. And then once we start looking at homes, I have like the tour sheet ready for them, every single home. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I am looking for homes for all of my buyers. And I immediately from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., I am contacting my current escrows and like my super, super hot leads, and I check in with them. So I make sure no lead that is active, ready to buy, is forgotten about. So by 10 o'clock in the morning, I've hit every single person that is like my low-hanging fruit. I didn't miss anybody, including like the ones that are actively looking. Because I do work with way more buyers than I do sellers.
Okay.
I know I need to switch my mindset up, but I'm just like, I would say probably 20 out of the 30 homes were buyers.
Yeah, I have a buddy that's an agent in Denver, and he said, I mean, he was doing a bunch of listings, but like now he's at the point where he's like, honestly, like first time home buyers, like there's nothing more magical than watching
it's
a
really
first time
cool.
home buyer actually achieve that goal,
Yeah.
especially when they're like, I can't do it, I can't
Yeah.
afford it, like there's just no way.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, it's not just about like what's the highest ROI for you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I take them through this process. I explain everything from A to Z so they know what to expect. I even send them a copy of the RPA, and I tell them, hey, go ahead and read this purchase contract. I don't want you to freak out when I'm literally on your ass to sign this shit, because I need this shit signed because I need it to get accepted. It's not that I'm pressuring you. I just want you to read this.
Do you
out
say it
here.
just like that to him too?
Yeah, it depends on the client.
Sign the contract.
No, I'm just,
Sign this shit right now.
Sign right now.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, first time home buyers, they get a little like anxious or whatever. So having
Totally.
everything, I think in my opinion, if you know it's not that anxious, if you know what you're getting yourself into, I make sure that they're pre-approved, and I make sure that they know their mortgage payment, like everything before we start looking. And then when we start looking, it's all about, like being on time, making sure that I'm sending them homes every time until we find something, working my ass off to get the offer accepted. And even then, after the process starts of the acceptance, I have another system, and it's like an opening escrow checklist. It's like you check in. The really coolest thing that I've added is towards the end right now. What I've been doing is I've been gifting my clients a photography session for the end. So when I go
Sweet.
give them keys, they get their own personal pictures with their family. They love it.
I'll bet.
And then I could use it for social media.
What better way to celebrate that milestone
Yeah.
than to document it? And then, it's double-sided, and
Yeah.
you can use it for social. That's super cool.
And I can use it for a gift later too if I want to frame and blow up a picture, and that's like a great holiday gift, and I have like a couple of them because like the photographer. But it's really just to make it shorter, it's just very service oriented. Like I take time with them. I go over the prelim with them. I go over their disclosures with them. I don't skip a beat on anything. And so that's really, really important to me. And I don't know if you guys have iPhones, but you know how you can pin conversations?
Yep.
Every open escrow or active buyer or seller that I have is up there. And then as soon as I close it, I remove them down. And they're, but at least I know like those people are my priority.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Well, she sounds very organized, right? Yeah. So, well, okay. So you're a communications major, right?
Yeah.
And so like, did that help you? Does that help you with stuff like this? Like, have you used any skills that, cause I'm a psychology major, but I use it in a very roundabout way in life, but I heard the same thing from communications people where they get degrees and they're like, I couldn't like use it, but it's come in handy in my current position. So is there anything like that you learned from being a communications major that has helped you in this, or nothing?
How to make a PowerPoint, like a bomb PowerPoint.
You know how to make a bomb? Hey, that's a good skill. That's a good skill. Levi, who helps with the podcast, who's in here right now, can make a bomb PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's part of my presentation, putting that together, making sure everything's good. But no, I picked a communications degree because I never liked school. It seemed like she's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do communications.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, right. That's why we're here. We didn't like school either, right? Yeah.
But honestly, I loved it. Like, it was a really fun major for me. But I don't know if it's a lot of writing and proper English. So I guess that did help. But no, for the most part, I almost regret going to college. I wish I would have just jumped straight into real estate, just like Daniel Beer did right out of high school.
Yeah, who's on buses and every bench and.
Yeah.
Man, that guy, and him and Alan Shaffron. I see Alan Shaffron all over the place too. I don't even think Alan Shaffron's like in the office ever. He's like in Barbados, like has like an hour-long call. Everything good? Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's good though. I'm not knocking Alan. Way to go, Alan. How about any like niche or that you work with? Any specialty or anything like that? Like, do you have a certain demographic of people, or are you just like, hey, you want to buy or sell? Hit me up.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of funny because it looks identical to like the relationships that I had in high school, because I was like a social butterfly. I couldn't stay in like one group.
Very extroverted.
Very, but I couldn't sit still. So it was like over here, mm-hmm. And like all my close friends, even now, like I have like a group of 4 girls, but they all don't hang out with each other. It's like they're all separate from like separate groups. Mm-hmm. And that's literally a reflection of my business. Like it looks like a throw up on San Diego. If you look up my like Zillow numbers, it looks like I just threw up on San Diego, and it's just everywhere. And sometimes I regret that, because I know that a lot of agents have a lot of success sticking to one little area.
Sure. Yeah, and really saturating that market.
But I don't know. It seems more fun to be like, oh, today I'm going to North Park, or like, oh, today I'll be in my hood, mm-hmm. like in Escondido. It's like I can take you all the way to Temecula if you want to. So
yeah, you're not as limited.
No,
right?
But it is a lot more work.
Yeah.
And it would be easier if I focused more so on a farm from the start. So I am teaching that to my new agents. Like, you should be focusing on a farm from the start. Don't limit yourself, but at least just put somewhat of a focus on a farm.
Yeah. Well, I think that makes sense, but also, to your point, if you're dabbling in all these places and, it really lights up for you in one of them, then, it'd be easy for you to just be, okay, well, there you go. Like, I can stick with that, and then you become, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that.
Another niche I would say is my people is like my Mexican culture. Like, I speak Spanish. A lot of, I would say 70% of my business is with Spanish-speaking clients. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even realize that until, because, that's not like a tab in my Excel sheet, like Mexican, white, like, I don't have that. But it is like an epiphany that I had just recently. I'm like, holy shit, like most of my clients are Mexican. Like, mm-hmm. And it's because they feel comfortable with me because I speak fluent Spanish.
Totally. Yeah, that's huge.
And a part of it is why I was also motivated to get in there, was because my dad was, he literally dropped out of middle school. So he didn't even finish middle school. And he did really well for himself. He was in the agriculture business. Mm-hmm. But my mom never worked a day in her life. She speaks no English. So that was always difficult to be with when it came to like forms at school or like big decisions.
I can imagine.
Real estate in general. So they got screwed a couple times with like, this was back in 2008 when all that stuff was happening. So it did kind of like upset me growing up, knowing that he was so scarred by like what he had lost. Mm-hmm. So I figured like, okay, what better person than to take care of my people than myself? So I know that I'll take better care of them than anybody else. So that does make me feel good if it is real estate related, that I can help them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Guys are
awesome.
hilarious.
That makes total sense. That's all Tony right there.
I'm Mexican, so I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, when we were
Levi is now
Oh,
is
yeah,
like he's Mexican too.
yeah, he's half.
He's
right?
half Mexican.
He's half Mexican. And we were actually just talking about soccer before this or whatever, and I can't remember what it was, but like we asked Tony if he was a soccer fan, and Levi was like, well, you're Mexican, of course you're a soccer fan. So when you had mentioned, I went with soccer, my Mexican, like I saw like these two like looked at each other or something, like there was some funny business going on over there. I don't know. Okay, so then, we talked about the burnout, we talked about, high productivity. Do you give us like one tip that you use to stay organized and stay productive that has really paid dividends? Like, if it's time blocking, or if it's meditation in the morning, or if it's like, I don't know, ignoring your calendar for a day. Like give us a little nugget that you can help out with.
Recently I have, and I don't think I could do this like my first or second year, so this does not apply to, I don't think, new agents. They need to be making calls like as much as they can, in my opinion. But right now, the way that I have my schedule set up is time blocking has been the biggest thing for me.
Really?
So have you read The Miracle Morning?
Of course. It's great.
I have fallen off that since I've gotten my dogs, because there's no way I'm meditating with two big ass dogs in my living room and just barking and scratching at the door. So I need to find something to fix that. But normally, Miracle Mornings, so I read, meditate, and then I have like a 5-minute journal. And that's every single morning. And then from that's when I check in with my active escrows, and then I have another hour to look for homes, and then I have another hour to check the emails, and then I follow up with all of my follow-ups, which are like people that I've already been in touch with, but I need to follow up. So they're not new leads. They're kind of like warm leads, but they're still not ready leads. And I have everything organized within my CRM, which is Follow Up Boss. I love that CRM.
Follow Up Boss. Gotcha.
Huge. I love that thing. I've tried other ones and I always come back. So I use that. And what I do is every lead that I put in there, I set a task. And then that task says, okay, call this person in 2 weeks. So then every morning I go to my task sheet, and every day it's something different. Like today I only had 7 calls to make, but yesterday I had like 30. And the day before that I had 74. I'm like, fuck, I fucked myself for today.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. But no, so I end up doing my follow-ups, and then I do 1 hour of cold calling. If this is bad, but I should do it, but if I feel like it. Yeah. It's just.
Well, look, you got to give yourself some grace too, every now and again, but it's repetition of a routine that you have, that you execute, and you do it every single day, and it's already built out, and the machine works.
Yeah, it works, and by noon I am done. All the important or uncomfortable conversations that I've had to have, I make sure I knock that shit out in the morning. And then after 12, even my boyfriend gets upset because he's like, what the fuck? You don't even work. Like, he sees all these checks coming. He's like, you didn't fucking do anything. You just stayed here with the dogs all day in my jammies, like on my laptop. And he's out there. He's he's a pilot for the Marines.
He looks like a very strong guy, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
I wouldn't say anything smart to him in a bar.
So it's just been really nice to finally find like, okay, I could do this and still make enough to be happy. Yep. But also feel like I have a balanced life and a healthy life. And then also I just started a team. So
nice.
Now I kind of feel like I'm a new mother. So I think maybe that noon mark now will change to like 4 o'clock, because it's something new that I'm investing in. Yeah, you're going to grow,
you're going to scale.
Yeah. So
But I want to talk about content here too, though. I mean, you mentioned that, your boyfriend's like, oh, you just stay here at home in your jammies. I mean, you're on social media. I've seen your YouTube channel. You've got some episodic content about, real estate and business. You've got 2 podcasts. So tell me about all that stuff. I mean, you're clearly a believer in content and marketing and adding value. So, talk about the podcast a little bit and the YouTube channel, and, how do you use social media?
Well, Instagram, I would say half of my business comes from Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's all through DMs, and I have a ritual. So like as soon as somebody messages me, I'm like, great, like what's a good number to call? Put it in my follow-up boss, set a task for them to call so I don't forget.
Right.
So I have made a ritual of that. But Primarily, it's honestly Instagram, and Gary Vee says don't put your eggs in one basket, and I'm fucking doing that shit. So I better not die because I am not like as YouTube loving as I am Instagram. Like I really do like Instagram. However, TikTok is growing on me significantly.
Yep.
And I feel like there is like a new like a comedy person inside me that hasn't really shown as much as I would want it to. So I'm excited to pursue that. So I'm actually moving brokerages as well. I can say that clearly now because I actually just did it today.
Not Compass?
No, I just left today.
And you are with now?
24/7.
24/7. You're just talking about burnout. Now you just went to a place called 24/7. So I'm a little concerned about you, Paulina. Okay, so 24/7. So what are you? I mean, what's their deal? I know Compass is like the tech and the systems, and we're the best. And
it's gonna suck leaving them. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Compass was a great company. It's just 24/7 is it's more friendly to new agents, and I'm starting to think of ways to retire here, but still doing it in a way that I love.
Sure.
So I think I do so well with clients because I educate them so well in the process that they appreciate it. And so that's what I'm doing with the agents. And I have found like a new fulfilling feeling coaching them. And so I feel like that's like
the next level.
Yeah, that's kind of where my attention's going. But I want to give them back what I feel like I didn't have. Like I've had great mentors, nothing to say about them. But of course, like I picked at a little bit of everywhere that I've been, things that I didn't like or things that I liked. And I'm excited to make it my own, to make the best experience ever for a new agent so they can have a good year the way that I did. So I'm just literally just giving them my blue book. And I'm like,
you're going from helping buyers and sellers reach their goals to then now helping real estate agents reach their goals.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. But I'm excited for a 24/7 office because we're going to turn our office that they gave us into like a media one. So I will be pumping hopefully more videos out soon. I have kind of fell off the wagon with the videos, but like I said, Instagram has just been so good for me.
Yeah.
I make sure I post an educational post a day on there. So I'm educating everybody on a fun fact, tips for sellers, tips for buyers, making it a little bit more interactive. Like, do you prefer high ceilings or whatever, extended patio, whatever it may be. Like, I think for me, Instagram's very fun. So
love it.
And podcast. Honestly, the way that I started the podcast was just for fun. The Biz Babes one. It was just more of like, I'm a boss bitch. Like, I just want to go do boss bitch shit, like go interview all these boss bitches. But honestly,
if anybody ever asks me about you, I'm going to be like, she's a boss bitch. She just wants to do boss bitch shit. That's what
it was so cool though, because dude, if you just hit up the right people as they're climbing up, like, I have so many good people on the Biz Babes one that I'm like, dude, they're freaking, like, making it right now.
Yeah.
Like, Danielle Wolf is a boxer. She just got signed. She's, like, literally fighting her first, MMA or whatever fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yep. You never know you never know what can happen,
And we hang out. Like,
when you're like the Gary Vee of real estate in, like, 15 years, I'm going to be like, she was on the podcast.
She was on the podcast.
Check it out.
Yeah. But it's exciting because, like, the short sale queen, too, she's freaking killing it.
Yeah.
Like, hundreds of brokerages open. Like, she's amazing. So I didn't even know who I was interviewing at the time. Like, that's how cool it is.
And then you have the P Money podcast as well.
Yeah, that was new because I kind of went off the wagon. I'm like interviewing doctors and random people, but then it turned into, okay, Paulina, like, you need to find your niche. Like, what is it? And I'm like, money is so exciting. Like, it is because I'm a numbers person and I like to see numbers and like, okay, it's taking me 10 consultations to get one deal closed.
Yep.
So if I do 10 pitches of consultations, if I can just literally blast, hey, I'm doing consultations for free on Instagram and just sign up 10 people, do them, one of them will officially close.
The numbers show, you can actually project better.
Yeah, and if you know that, it's like the anxiety goes away and like you don't feel like you suck. It's like, no, I just didn't do 10 consultations. I did 5.
Yep.
I'm not going to get shit if I do 5.
Exactly.
The chances are less. So
that's awesome.
That's how social media helped me. It's just kind of finding ways. And I think COVID so much for it too, because that really pushed me to do the consultations via Zoom. That's when I got the most. So
awesome.
COVID helped.
So some good growth there during COVID. Okay. Well, look, before we wrap, I just want, I want to talk about all this technology, content, information, the different models for brokers and like like Amazon selling houses and Zillow's. Where do you think the industry is going to be in 10, 20 years? Like, is the role of the agent going to change? Are transactions going to change? Are agents going to go away? Like, what's your take on how real estate's going to be done in the next, couple of decades here?
Okay, if I'm being a Gary Vee and predicting the future right now, I would say the tasks I feel like for a realtor will diminish. Like, we will have less tasks. Like, we do have to wear so many hats. People don't even realize. Like, it's like they're like, oh, you get paid so much. It's like, you want to fucking do this shit? Like, come over here.
Yeah.
It's
want to deal with somebody who's got, $1 million tied up in a home transaction.
It's not even about the stuff. It's literally the load of stress that you're taking on for somebody. You're literally the punching bag. You are the middleman. Like, you get the shit talked to instead of the escrow officer or the loan officer. Like, it's you, especially if you've grown that relationship with your client, because you're the one that sees them the most. So, of course, they're going to feel more comfortable with you. So it's like constant, shit talking maybe. Depends. I haven't had that many deals, but there's been my rough share of very, very difficult deals.
I'll bet.
Wait, what was the question?
Just like, how with technology, what is real estate going to look like in the next 10 to 20 years?
Yeah, so I think that our duties they'll find a way to make it less. I feel like, so I think our pay will decrease, but I don't think you can really replace realtors. Like, that connection that somebody has to have during a process needs to be there. But you never know, like with this whole blockchain thing, like smart contracts, like you're done.
We had a guy, the guy whose dog that in the Polaroid that we showed you, this agent Grant, who like knew all about blockchain and like NFTs and all this stuff, and just like laid it on us, and I was just like, wow, like just blown away.
NFT and blockchain, it's the future technically.
Yeah, I think so too, and I honestly, like, good for us. Like, we need that. Like, people feel like, okay, you're eliminating jobs, but it's like, no, but new ones are creating.
They're changing.
Yeah, they're just changing, and I'm okay with that. I think that's understandable, but I don't think that it'll be as soon as people think. I think it'll take a while.
Yeah.
I might not even get to see it by the time I retire.
Well, the metaverse is being created by Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the only way that you can buy things through the metaverse, which reflects in the physical form, is with blockchain currency.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's the best too, because the fact that you can track everything, like, you could see where tax dollars are going, like, but then it's like all the people profiting now, they're not going to want to do that. So it's going to be a hard fight.
No, it is going to be, it's going to take like
years.
Yeah. Once like all the old school folks are out and then new people come in, it'll take a while.
Yeah. By the way, like sheep, right? That Chinese coin. Right now, if you invest like $2,000, it's growing so fast that like in next month you'll make those $2,000 is gonna be like 100 or 200K.
Really? Yeah. What's it called?
Yeah. Sheaf.
Sheaf.
Yeah.
Sheaf.
Sheaf.
Okay.
I had to be very.
No, I'm thinking like, should I be investing in this?
Sheaf. Yeah.
Cool.
You should. Yeah.
Right on.
Better than Dogecoin.
Okay. Yeah, I got some of that because of your advice, and I haven't really made much, Tony. Haven't really made much.
I did make some.
Long-term hold.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, listen, thanks so much for coming on. Where can everybody look in the camera over here and wave and let everybody know how they can connect with you?
So I am on Instagram, Paulina Sells San Diego. My podcast is called The P Money Show. But again, like I had said earlier, I put my eggs in one basket, which is Instagram. So there's like a little link tree there, and it literally has everything. So if you need a consultation or even just coaching, I'm more than happy to help you guys. So thank you guys so much for having me. This was really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. And everybody out there, you can get us at thewhatsnextpod.com, on Instagram and Facebook at thewhatsnextpod, and on YouTube as well. So if you're looking to buy or sell, or, you're a newer agent and you just want to connect with somebody that can really help you, definitely connect with her. And before we leave, I always ask my partner, Tony, to give us some parting words of advice and let us know what he thinks about the podcast and the show. So, Tony, please take it away.
Oh, thank you, Max. It's funny. I'm laughing because good friend of us, Levi, he always likes when he asks me this question, because a lot of the time I'm caught on guard. Like, I'm like, paying attention to the cameras. So I'm like, yes, thank you for coming. So I'm gonna do the same thing to you, and I'm gonna tell you thank you for coming. I loved your story. I like, I'm Mexican, but not because of that I like soccer, but I do like soccer. But not because I'm Mexican, it's just because I like the sport, right? So thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
For sure. Awesome. All right, Tony. All right, take us out, brother.
All right.
We sit down with real estate agents and talk about how the industry is changing, thriving with technology. We look at strategy. We love it. Welcome to What's Next podcast.